Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we today? It is the 24th of April. Wow. The year is just going like this. Good morning. I'm glad you're here with me today. Such an honor, such a privilege. How have you been? I've missed you. This is Winning Your Year with Joyce Daniels. And how did we come about winning your year? Wiser. Wiser is our flagship event that holds every year, December 1st to 31st. Good morning. And at Wiser, one of the years, it was like, we wish this could continue. So we decided that during the course of the year, we would have intermittent events, host sessions like this that will help us stay true to our commitments at Wiser and stay true to winning the year. So that's what this is about, staying true to many of the commitments we had made at the start of the year so that indeed we win. Because you and I know that many of us plan to win, but do not win because of all the challenges that life throws at us. So today's session is about how to ensure we make it back to track or get back on track so that indeed we win the year using some of the power tools that we shall discuss today. Power tools for winning. It's April. It's almost the end of April. So how are you doing? Are you winning? Are you winning as you had hoped? Or are you winning more than you hoped? Or are you having challenges winning? It could be any of those answers. It could be yes, I am winning, but not as much as I hoped. Yes, I'm winning, and I'm even doing better than I had planned. Yes, or no, I'm not winning, and I'm struggling. And there are different reasons why. Some of the reasons would even be beyond your control, as it were. But let's look at some of the tools that we have, and you would see one or two tools that could help you get back on the winning streak because it is possible to win again. I'm so glad that you all are here with me this morning, and I say thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. Yay! Yes, and we will hear good news from Edo State by God's grace. Good morning. So, what are the tools that I have prepared for us this morning? Tool number one, well, without any doubt, will be review your list, review your dream. At the start of the year, maybe even last year, for those of you who were with us at Wiser 2022, some of us began to dream for 2023 during Wiser 2022, and some even before. So many of us had a dream that was documented. And if it wasn't documented, it's okay to document it now because it's time to review that dream. Usually, the dream will give rise to a list. You would have the dream, oh, at the end of the year, 2023, I should have done this and that. Oh, I see myself here doing this and that. And so you now have a list of things you would like to do that will translate to your winning. So review the list. So even for me, there was a time I looked at my list of Wiser 2021 and I was perplexed, as it were, because there were some things I wrote on that list I had completely forgotten. Completely. And why? Because we're human and humans forget. Even when the things seem so sweet and enjoyable and real and achievable, attainable, we can forget if it's not always in front of us. Sometimes we write it on a piece of paper somewhere. That's why I like to say keep it in a journal that you can always refer to, because if you write on a piece of paper somewhere, it might even be lost. Yes, there is the evidence as shared with us by, is it Brian Tracy now? Yes, I think it was Brian Tracy who talked about the the study he did and realized he did that study over several years and realized that people who wrote their dreams and their goals and their desires, even though they had written and dropped the dream somewhere and forgotten. So, for example, he will say, write it down and drop it somewhere you would not return to, maybe on top of your wardrobe, in some box, keep it locked up somewhere. They realized that over a few years, or maybe in the course of the entire year, those who wrote down, even though they never went back to look, were more likely to achieve those dreams than those who did not write at all. So you see, there is that. But looking back at the dream, you might see that there are things right in front of you that you can quickly win just because you've made eye contact again. Is this making sense to you? Right? So when last did you look at your dream? And the flip side is sometimes we look at it and we just drop it. We look. So it's not enough to look, right? We should look and do something next after looking. So, question: when last did you look at your dream? Is today a good day to look at that dream? Is today a good day to look at that list? Yes, it's making sense to you. It's making sense to me. In fact, I am also going to look at my dream today because I do feel like one or two things may have gone off track because I haven't reviewed them. Because review is not just to look. After looking, we now take a step. We use the 5 W's and 1 H. And you know what these 5 W's and 1 H are, right? So tell me in the chat which of the W's do you know? Write anyone. And the H, of course, what does the H mean? Waiting to see responses. What? Thank you, love. All right. In no particular order. Yes. Why? When? How? So, who? One of the W's is who. Who do I need? Thank you. I've seen who as well. Who do I need to speak to concerning this dream or this list? Who are the active players that I need with me? Do I need a team of people to work with? Yes. Who, what, where, who, when, why, and how? Do I need other people to join me? Do I need to be a part of someone else's team to achieve my dream? Because some dreams will never be achieved by ourselves. We would need to be in touch with other people. Where will this happen? Can I do it in this place where I am? Do I need to go apply to join this company or do I need to go join this group of people? Where? Can it happen if I'm working from home? A friend of mine rented an office last month, and we were talking about it, and I asked her why, and she said, look, Joyce, I looked at my dream and I realized that one of my biggest challenges was working from home. So some people find that working from home is great for them. Other people find that working from home is limiting them. So where is your place of fulfilling your dream? Where is that place of winning for you? And she's just gone back and forth from her office a few days, and she's like, look, productivity has already gone up. So where is your where? When timelines? Is this going to happen now? Should this be in place already? When should I set it for August, September? Has it passed? Was it supposed to be February? If it was February and I didn't win, then when is the next when that I can win this particular thing? Can I move it to June? Can I move it to December? Should I announce it now? When? Then what are the other? Why am I even doing this? Am I doing this because it is part of my life's purpose, or it's just something I had said I would do? It's a hobby, or it's something for legacy? Why am I doing it? And sometimes your why will strengthen all your other W's. Sometimes your why will strengthen all your other W's. Why did I say I was going to start exercising? Is it because I want to lose weight, or just because I want to take photos and videos in a gym, or because I want to be strong and healthy when I am X age, with unable to do this, that, and the other? Is it because the doctors have told me that my cholesterol level is too high? Or what is your why? What is your why? Then, what other W have I missed any? Who, where, what, where, who, when? I think we've touched all of them. What am I doing? What is the dream? What is the list? Where am I doing it? Who am I doing it with? Or who am I doing it for? When am I doing it? Why am I doing it? And then how? How do I go about it? Do I need to attend a course first? Do I need to get a coach? Do I need to do X, Y, Z? You see, when we ask these questions, it kind of makes the dream easier to achieve. Easier, not easy. just easier because you've seen now what and what needs to be done. Yes? So, number one, we said was review that list, review that dream, and then check out the 5 W's and 1 H. Ask questions about how you will achieve the things you had desired to win in the course of the year. Then, number three, please, by all means, tell somebody about that win that you are looking for or you're looking toward. Tell somebody for accountability's sake. Announce it somewhere. Tell your family members. Tell some of your best friends. Tell your spouse. Tell your children. Tell your parents. Tell some community. Announce it on your social media if you like. Why? For accountability, because some people will ask, oh, what about this thing you were going to say? What about this thing you were going to do? What about this thing you had planned? Right? Sometimes we need that kind of accountability, if not all the time. But note that the aim is to become accountable to ourselves. That at some point we should be some of our greatest accountability partners. The reason why we have external accountability partners is because sometimes we get tired, we get weak, we need other people. But don't let it become a weakness that if nobody else is keeping you accountable, you're not able to keep yourself accountable. So we need accountability from other people. We also need to grow the strength of personal accountability, which is tough but achievable. And I even struggle with it sometimes. I look at the list and I say, Joyce, you're supposed to do this and that. And I'm like, let me just leave it. But then I get a call from someone. Even my husband asked me a question. Hey, what about that thing you were going to do? Have you made that call? And when he starts, he doesn't stop. Joe, go, have you made that call? Have you made that call? Have you made that call? And I go, oh, let me make the call. Or my mentor calls me, or one of my team members call me, or someone in my community, somebody who I had talked about it with, or one of my siblings, somebody calls and says, hey, Joyce, what about this thing you were going to do? A friend of mine, Mabel sent me a message some weeks ago. I should say, hey, JD, you had said you would do this, that. What have you done it? I said, oh my gosh, girl. And then I said, I'm running away from you right now because I haven't done it. But thankfully, I am on it now. I am on it. Thankfully, I am on it because I had told these number of people who reached out to say, you had said you would do this. What has happened with that? So tell somebody today. Now that you've reopened that list, you've rediscovered that list, you're looking through it and you're looking at your 5 W's and 1 H, who are you going to tell about it? And the more people you tell, sometimes the more helpful. And I always say that children tend to be very great accountability partners because, and especially young children, especially those under the age of 10, in my opinion, now this is my personal opinion, because they don't understand. They usually don't understand the challenges of life. So they just feel if you say you're going to do something, nothing should stop you from doing it, right? They seem to be unstoppable. So when you say, hey, I'm going to do this by this time, they go, oh, mom, have you done it? Hey, dad, have you done it? And they're like, why? Why haven't you done it? What's wrong? Like, why? You had said you would do it. What's stopping you? So maybe you should tell your children. And it doesn't have to be those very young ones. It could be any children of yours. They will ask you. And that discomfort that comes from someone looking in on you, checking in on you, sometimes can be helpful. They will stress you and stretch you until you win, because the whole idea is to win. And winning is not always easy. That's why we need the stretch. Winning is beautiful to see. Winning is exciting to experience, but it's not always easy to achieve because we question ourselves. Many times we look down on ourselves. Sometimes we tell ourselves we are not able to do the things that we really can do. Yes, many times we tell ourselves that we are not able to do the things that we really can do. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he mentioned the word I've been trying to remember for a few days, imposter syndrome, where you go, Joyce, you can't do this. So you had said you would do it, but who dash monkey banana? Are you a monkey? How dare you say you're going to achieve this or that when you are not smart enough, you're not educated enough, you're not You don't have the right network. We start telling ourselves that we are not enough when indeed we are. Indeed, we are. So before we jump into number 4, I'm going to review numbers 1 to 3 again. Number 1 is review the dream or the list. Go back and see that list you had put together, the list of things you want to win and how you want to win. Look at that list. Then employ the use of 5 W's and 1 H: who, what, where, when, why, and how am I going to get this? Who am I working with? Who am I working for? How are we going to do this? Where will we do it? When will we do it? So the timelines and how. What do we do before what? Then you talk to someone, tell somebody about your decision and even your methods if possible, just for accountability, whilst noting that we want to get to the point where we can also hold ourselves accountable. I am not saying that we don't need external accountability. I am saying we need both external accountability partners and self, because sometimes we won't find anybody else to keep us accountable but ourselves. So we need to help ourselves by finding accountability partners. And this person keeping you accountable must be somebody who really loves you and is interested in you. Sometimes our accountability partners are so busy dealing with their own issues, they can't remember us. And so we can't even be angry with them. But there are some people like our parents, our spouses, our siblings, our children who love us so much and are all up in our businesses. They will remember even when we forget. So be careful not to get an accountability partner that is not really interested in you, not because they don't like you, but because they have a lot on their plates already. Sometimes your mentor is not your best accountability partner, because your mentor might, he or she themselves, be so busy. The person who is so close to you, it could even be your staff, it could be your housemaid, it could be your driver. Yes, but the person is around you and you say, hey, in 3 weeks, we're supposed to do this and this. Please remind me, write it somewhere, remind me. And they will come, madam, Oga, you talk, say you go do this. Oga, you said you would, madam, you had said we would do, right? So let's look out for those who would help us. And finally, number 4, well, not finally, number 4 is celebrate your wins. This is one of the reasons why some people don't win, because we also don't have a reward system for when we do win. And there's note to self going on here because sometimes I also don't have reward systems for my own wins. And the reward doesn't have to be a big deal. The reward could also be a big deal. And if you take your reward seriously, you're more likely to win. A friend of mine and I, years ago, we agreed that we were going to achieve something together, and that when we did, we will get ourselves, what was it called now? Fitbit watches. That was our agreement. And the Fitbit watch, the watches, they weren't too expensive. They were pricey but affordable. We could afford it because we were planning to afford it. I think it was about 80, 90, between 80 and 100K. And it was like, oh, if we put this amount aside every month, we would achieve it. Our target was to achieve by November and then get the watches by December. Guess what happened? She got her watch months earlier. I think her husband gave it to her as a gift because he didn't know this was our agreement. So for their wedding anniversary or something, he got her the Fitbit watch. And she showed it to me. She's like, Joyce, I already have my watch. So the dream is not even looking so appealing anymore. The watch was supposed to be the high points. Like, if I achieve this, I will buy myself a Fitbit. Now that I have the Fitbit, I'm like, let me chill. So you see, it was I achieved mine and got my Fitbit later. She struggled to achieve hers. She struggled. She really struggled because the reward was already on her hand. So be careful that your reward is not something that you just say, no, I beg, I beg, I beg. Whether or not I achieve, I will reward myself with this or that. It could play tricks on us. So be careful how you celebrate your wins or how you reward yourself when you do win. But by all means, celebrate your win. Celebrate your win. Tell the world about it if you want to, because when we get used to not celebrating our wins, we take for granted the hard work that went into winning. Please, if this makes sense to you, say it makes sense. You've toiled for years for your 100-meter race, and at the end of the race, you won or you win. Guess what? The Olympic team or the whatever team it is, whether it's the Olympics or Diamond League, they will reward you even before you reward yourself, because they understand how much work had been put in. So they put that wreath on your neck, they give you a medal, they pop champagne or something, they give you a flower, they give you something to celebrate your win with you. Be a constant testifier. Testify on platforms. Testify to the people you had told to keep you accountable. Show them that you have won and celebrate it. And if possible, reward yourself. Who was it I was speaking to some time ago, some years ago, a friend of mine, she had been talking about how she had never had a photo shoot and she really wanted a photo shoot. And I said, I know I asked a number of questions. Why aren't you doing it? And she, we deciphered one of the reasons was it was quite expensive, blah, blah, blah. And I said, what have you done to deserve a photo shoot? What are some areas you have won? And she said, oh, I did this, I did that. I said, so do you deserve a photo shoot? She said, yes, I actually do. She now tied the photo shoot to a win, or in fact, in her case, it was several wins. And so it was easier for her now to bring out that money, because she had been looking at, am I going to bring out 50,000 naira just because I want to take photographs? Now that she saw it as a reward system for something, she's like, I deserve to spend 50,000 on myself because I want the photo shoot. I know it will make me happy. And guess what? The photos will be used for XYZ. That is another benefit. But I'm doing it to reward myself. And when she went for the photo shoot, believe me, it was not a 50K photo shoot. She actually went for a proper photo shoot. When I say proper, well, she went for a more expensive one that gave her more leverage, because she was able to tie it to a win. There are some things we want to do. Some of us want to travel to certain countries. You've looked at the bill. What? How can I spend 1 point something million to go to this place? God forbid. But when you tie it to a certain win and go, I do deserve this trip because I achieved this. Some of us high flyers, high achievers that have not really maybe made the kinds of monies we want, and sometimes we even have and exceeded, because of that same imposter syndrome. We don't feel we deserve certain rewards. It could, or should I put it as a question, could it be because some of those rewards have not been properly tied to the wins and the hard work we put into the win? So think about it. If I finish my book and I publish it and I hit my 2,000 sales within these number of months as I have written, I write the book, I publish it by this month, and by this other month, I would have sold 2,000 copies. Then I would indeed go spend a weekend at so and so place. That money is not necessarily coming from the book sales. It is coming from something else that I had put aside, but my reward for hitting this target is I will take that holiday. That's how you're celebrating that win. So this is time to reflect after this conversation right now. Even whilst we're having this conversation, you might be looking in your journal and you're agreeing on what you would do to celebrate your win and how you will celebrate your win. See, you're celebrating your win and rewarding yourself could be as simple as sending your children away to their grandparents for a weekend so that you can have the house all to yourself, quiet. That could be a reward for yourself. Something that would have made you feel very guilty before. Now you go, hey, I've done this. I need this break. I'm going to send these children to their grandparents for 1 week, for 1 weekend or 1 week. I will send everything they need. And this week I will just be by myself at home lounging. To do all these things, we need courage and confidence, right? We need a dose of courage and confidence. So, guess what I'm going to be doing later this morning? I'm going to watch the Courage and Confidence webinar again. For those of us who have watched it before, I would ask watch it again because it might just help you boost your confidence and your courage to go back and look at that list, see where you might have fallen off, jump right back, so that rather than condemn yourself, you find more strength and more courage to go for it so that you win again. Does this make sense to you? And if you haven't watched the Courage and Confidence webinar before, then it's a good time to do so. Just hit us up in the WhatsApp chat or send me a private message that, hey, you want the Courage and Confidence webinar, and we'll send you the link. You have to pay a token for it. What token is it, Nancy? Is it 20,000, 15,000? I know it's something. And please remind me what token it is. And you can watch that webinar. It's approximately 3 hours, preferably to watch as a stretch, but you can watch it in bits, get out the key points, see how it shows exactly how to build your self-esteem, how to develop your confidence, and how to fan to flames your courage to do. I need to watch it because there are some tasks I'm taking on, and I know that I need to boost my courage and confidence again. So let's do this. Let's do this together because we really can win with these 4 power tools that we have discussed today. Any of the tools you remember, please just write it in the chat before we say goodbye this morning. It's a public holiday here in Nigeria. So I'm hoping that we all have some plans to rest somehow. Rest could be your reward. Your rest today could be your reward. Some of us work all the time that some of us can't even remember when last we took a break. Today might be that day for you to actually look through your list, but today might not be the day for you to take action. Today might be the day to watch your courage and confidence and relax, take a chill pill, and sleep all day. All right. I wish you the very best today. I wish you only the best that you wish yourself. I wish you God's best. And it is my desire that as you look through review your dream and look through the hows, the what, the where, the why, the when, and how, you would find strength to take action. It is my desire that you would choose the right accountability partners for yourself, including you, and you will indeed take action, knowing what and how you will celebrate your win at the end of the day, and that for anything you may not win, you would learn from. What we call failure, we've always said is, yeah, I'm seeing your responses. Thank you. What we call failure, we always say failure is really just a learning curve. That if you've already failed at something, then we can go back and review it and see why we failed or what made us fail. And so we can learn and start all over again. Have a great Monday. Barka de Salah to all who are celebrating the Salah, which is all of us, Muslim or not. We're celebrating with our neighbors. I wish you the very best. All right. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have a super duper day.
Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so glad that you are here. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to get notifications every time I post a new video so that you miss out on nothing. See you again. Bye.